Well, let me go ahead and welcome everyone here tonight. And this is the Popeyes Bahama Bowl kickoff rally. And we wanted to have a fun event to kick off the promotions of the Bahamas Bowl here this fall and in December with this event. We've got a pretty long program, unfortunately, because we've got a lot of friends here with us tonight that we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to meet. And also, after we get through with the program, we've got wonderful food provided by Marcos' Pizza that'll be here tonight. And I know I had tested it yesterday, and it's outstanding, and I know you'll enjoy that. And we've got plenty of refreshments. And then at 7:30, we've got the start of the Miami Hurricanes football game against Cincinnati. So we're going to have a fun evening. We want everybody to relax and just have a good time. I'd like to kick this session off by introducing a person that many of y'all has had an opportunity to meet, and that's Pete Durgis, who is Senior Vice President of ESPN. Pete runs the ESPN Events Division, which now consists of 13 bowl games, many basketball tournaments, and several TV shows. And it's one of the best divisions of the entire ESPN company. He just celebrated 25 years with the company and has been a great friend of mine for longer than 25 years. And I'd love to get Pete to come up and just say a word of welcome. Pete.
Thank you, Richard. It's definitely true that it's better in the Bahamas. Hurricane or not, it's much better. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for taking time to be with us tonight. The bowl game, the special event, it's going to be a wonderful platform for so many activities and so many different people and so many different businesses throughout this community to latch onto. But to have a postseason event in Paradise, a place where you'll see in the video teams are anxious to come, players are anxious to participate, to get a chance to see the warm, friendly culture that is the Bahamas. It's wonderful. These events are never possible without great stakeholders, and we had a great session back in June. Many of you were here. We're continuing to broad base it. But it takes everybody pulling together in a common vision to grow this event. And I think the message that I would like to leave with you is that we don't view this as a sprint. This is a marathon. This is a long-term investment in a postseason college football game in your beautiful country. We look forward to building it step by step, every year adding a great element, and hopefully satisfying the purpose of all the different key stakeholders, from our major sponsors to the tourism Ministry of Tourism within the Bahamas, to the folks that run this wonderful facility, the stadium here, right on through. We've got great friends and stakeholders from the Atlantis property, and every place we've turned, we've never been turned away. Lee and Lee Miller, who's was one of the founders and founded the game originally and has been involved in the Battle of Atlantis, has been really focused on developing the relationships within the Bahamas from a sales standpoint. Richard and his team from an operational standpoint, and so many of you in here play such a critical role. So we're excited about it. We thank you for being with us tonight. It should be a fun program. You're going to see a lot of video, a lot of fun, and hopefully this game will do for everybody, from the outreach to the charitable donations that we're making within the community. Hopefully this will satisfy a void on the sports scene and continue to grow in stature and status. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pete. I just saw Minister Danny Johnson come in the room, and I haven't told you this, Minister, but I would like you to come up and say a word of welcome, and we appreciate your involvement in what you're doing with sport in this country and your assistance with the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl. Call it.
Good afternoon, everyone. How y'all feeling? Now, you know, normally when hurricanes pass, we just have a little party, right? So I've officially declared this a hurricane shelter. I've called for more beers and wine and some entertainment.
Sounds good to me.
And we can play some football. Yeah. We want to welcome the Popeyes Bowl, the Bahama Bowl. I think, you know, the only bowl game played outside the United States since, 1937. Nominated for an ESPY this year. You know, went really, really to the top of the top. Came down to 1 second and 1 point. You know, I almost missed it because it was such a huge expanse of the thing. And I went downstairs with my daughter to get some refreshment. She wanted a hot dog with something special on it. It tells us we got to do better at our concessions this year, too. We got to be rolling very fast. Because I was down there for like a half an hour. And I came up when the game was almost tied. I had a nervous breakdown. And then she said, "Oh, Daddy, you missed the ketchup." I'm like, ain't happening. We want to welcome you all back. We know it was a fantastic time. You got great football fans here. We got the Ministry of Tourism. We got our brand, Sports in Paradise. We're going to book some more things. We got the World Cup of Beach Soccer coming. We got the PGA coming. We got Tiger Woods coming in 2 months. LPGA, you know, beach volleyball. We just got everything going on in the Bahamas. Oh, and by the way, a small hurricane. We welcome you back, Leah, with all your crew. ESPN, I know the vice president is here from ESPN. The NCAA, collegiate sports that does their thing. AEG and Alan Cates, all our partners who make this happen. This is why we designed this place. This is why we're in the business of sports. And I keep telling people, I know they don't believe me, but no joke, the best is yet to come. You got some incredible things coming. I can make an announcement for you all before Christmas. Gonna rock your socks. No joke. Now, if I was sure one of you all in here could catch good, I'd throw this ball, but I'm not too sure with some of these people, you know. And these are the Nerf balls, but we really welcome you back. Richard Giannini and his crew. Popeyes, you know, and he got on a UM shirt. Hey, here's for University of Miami, man. Bam. Thank you all back. You know, all of you beautiful people. We got a really, really tight schedule ahead of us, and we think we're up to the challenge. I think we got the best partners in the world. It doesn't get better than a bowl game, and it doesn't get better than a bowl game in the Bahamas. Welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'd now like to call on another dear friend of ours that has been a real big part of the bowl game, and one of the first groups that when Lee and I started running around the island, she ran around the island many more years than I did before me, but together the first group that we met other than with the Ministry of Sport, Youth, Culture, was the Ministry of Tourism. And I'd like to ask Tommy Thompson, who's the Deputy Director General of the Ministry of Tourism. Tommy, if you'd come up and say a word.
Thanks, Richard. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Minister, you follow me around. Everywhere I go, I run into you. But, you know, on behalf of the Minister of Tourism, we just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And we're very pleased that the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl is going to be back on Christmas Eve. You know, we had the first one last year, and it actually turned out to be a great success. We can only build on it and make it even better. And it's in the Bahamas. It makes it better in the Bahamas. And we're continually getting the reputation of being the place where events happen. I mean, Jungle Summer Festival, we got the True Festival that's in next month. We have the Music Fest next month as well. So there's just a lot going on in the islands of the Bahamas. But, you know, we got to take a minute to be thankful that we're okay here in Nassau, but we got to think about our brothers and sisters in the southern Bahamas. So, you know, when time comes for donations to get them back on their feet, everybody dig in and let's give. But tonight we're here to celebrate the Bahamas Bowl. The Ministry of Tourism is a great partner. We're a great sponsor of it. We believe in it. We believe in sports tourism, and we're here to do our part to market it. Now, one of the things we got to do is do a better job getting more visitors to the game. So we got to make sure we tap into the cruise lines, we tap into the tour operators who can work with us, and also the local Bahamian operators to bring people from the islands. So we got to make sure it's much more successful. This is baby steps. It's only our second year, and we're going to rock it. We're going to make it better. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Tommy. We really appreciate your support and what you all mean to what we're doing here. The next group that I'd like to introduce is really very important to us because that's the facility that you're in, and you can't play a bowl game or you can't play a college football game if you don't have a stadium to play in. And I'd like to introduce and welcome Chairman Leroy Archer, and appreciate what you're doing for us. If you'd like to come up and say a word, we'd love to have you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Leroy Archer, Chairman of the National Sports Authority, and I want to say that on behalf of my board and my team, we will be ready. Bahamas Bowl is coming again, and we want to make sure that this is a very successful event. We welcome you. We appreciate that you came to our island because we know that it keeps getting better in the Bahamas. And this year will be another year where our venue will be top-notched. We welcome that all your teams will come and really appreciate not only our sun, sand, and sea, but the people, our warmth, and what we have to offer. So again, thank you and welcome to the Bahamas.
I'd also like to recognize and just them wave to you. He's already been recognized one time, but Anton Seeley, who has been very instrumental in helping us. He's been vice chairman of the NSA and a real friend of ours, and everybody knows in this country what he means to sport. And Anton, we really appreciate you. And another gentleman that we worked very closely with last year that really helped us make the game happen, and that's Jeffrey Beckles, who is the general manager here at the stadium. And without you, we wouldn't have made it happen, and we really appreciate your effort and your participation. The next individual I'd like to introduce you to is someone from the United States that from the domestic side has really made this game what it is, and that is Mr. Hector Munoz, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Popeyes. And I can't say enough of what they mean to the game, but just the entire crew, and we've gotten to know them, and they do it right, and they've got just a great product and a great company. And Popeyes has got a big group here tonight. We're having a site visit during this week, and it's just been a great experience with them. And we've had a chance a year and a half now to really get to know Hector, and he is a Miami Hurricane, and he's got his orange on, and Popeyes is orange, and it's just a pleasure to have you here, and I'd like you to come up and welcome everybody, Hector.
Well, thank you, Richard. So in the spirit of the occasion today, I'm going to go by Hurricane Hector, okay? So today, I am Hurricane Hector, so when you meet me, please acknowledge me that way. No, seriously, I just want to let you know on behalf of Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen, we couldn't be more proud of the relationship and the partnership that we've been able to establish with the bowl game and obviously with the islands of the Bahamas. We are completely committed to the country, as demonstrated by extending our partnership, but more importantly by the fact that we're now building our first restaurant here in the country, one of many to come in the future. The goal is to have the restaurant open by the game, obviously with many more to come. But as importantly, given the partnership and the value that we feel comes from the partnership. We've actually started to promote our partnership in our restaurants already. Last year we started sometime around December, but we started now this time in September to really create awareness around not only the bowl game, but more importantly, just the partnership between the Popeyes brand and the great country that is the Bahamas. And we're really proud. We couldn't be more excited to be here. And we look forward to not only a great game, but a great relationship and an extended partnership that's going to go on for years to come. So thank you very much.
Y'all don't get to see it here on the island yet because the store hasn't opened, but it's amazing the activation that Popeyes does in the United States to promote the Bahamas Bowl. And you can go in any store domestically, and that's all you see in the month of December is Popeyes Bahamas Bowl, and it's incredible. And Hector, we really thank you and your team for what you're doing for us. The next person that I would like to introduce, and I know we won't get her up here to speak, but she has been with us every step of the way, too, in this process, and has been a great partner and is participating tonight with us, and that's Carla Wells from the Caribbean Bottling Company, Coca-Cola. Where are you, Carla? If you would just stand up and let us say hello. Thank you so much, Carla, for what you all are doing for us and being one of our great partners. Another individual, I don't know whether he's here tonight, but Queswell Ferguson from Kalik Beer is going to be a partner of ours and a sponsor. And I know all of y'all that like to drink that beer, like that fact. So we appreciate them and appreciate them being a part of our team and being with us. And the Burns House, and we thank them for that. I've got a couple of people that I'd like to introduce. What we're really trying to do for our stakeholders is just to let you know who we are, what we're trying to do, and with the game, and you get to know us. And we're here for the long haul. And as Pete said, we're going to continue to build, and it's just not a year. It's not just 3 or 4 years, but it's for as long as it can go. We want this bowl game to sustain itself. And I'd love to introduce Lee Miller, who many of y'all know came down to the Bahamas many years ago and got involved and started probably the most successful college basketball tournament that's a preseason before you get into the NCAA play with the Battle for Atlantis. It's a tremendous event. It's got a great field every year, and Lee is the one that organized it, got the rights to it, got it started, and ESPN is now televising it live all over the world, and Lee has been the one that helped in this game from day one to get the bowl game started. And Lee, I'd love for you to stand up and be recognized. Lee. And we also have with us Amanda Quintana, who you probably met at the front door, who works for ESPN Events and is going to be with us this year. And Amanda, appreciate you being here tonight and your help with what we're doing. Before we get in, we've got a couple of highlight clips that we want to show you. We've got to show you some of our football and kind of show you what happened again in the game last year. But, one of the purposes that we're here is to put something back into this country. And last year, the bowl game made a gift to Rand Furley home of $56,000. That was a pretty sizable gift, and probably more than majority of the bowl games do and that sort of thing in the United States. And we were really committed to that home. And I don't know if Alex Roberts is here tonight, or Alexander Malice Lynch, if she's here. She's the president of the home, and Alex Roberts is the one that operates it. But we, from day one, we identified them as something that we really needed to be a part of and to contribute to. And one of the special things that happened last year, here comes the hurricane. Don't run out. Don't run out. There's too much power in this room, and that's good to have. Well, we're getting darker and darker here. So anyway, but a private school in Dallas, Texas, the Episcopal Good Shepherd School, saw the game on television, and a bunch of their students got together and raised an additional $25,000 to give to Rand Furley Home to help with some renovations of their laundry room and some kitchen items. And it was all because they watched that game on television and saw something about Rand Furley Home, and it was some students that saw it and went to their teachers and said, we want to do this as a project. So Rand Furley's going to be a part of this game as long as that we're here. And another thing that we're announcing tonight that is something that I think is going to have a lasting effect on this country is that you all remember last year with Conference USA, Britton Banowski, their commissioner, one of the things that he really wanted to get done was to bring American football to this country for the youth of this great country. And starting next week on 6 islands in the Bahamas, there's going to be a Bahama Youth Football League for 9 and 10-year-olds. There will be American football. They'll have helmets, they'll have shoulder pads, they'll have uniforms. They'll be coached the way the American football is to be. And it's really going to be neat because they're going to have competition on those 6 islands. And then during the bowl week, they're going to come here and they're going to have a tournament here on the island, here in Nassau and New Providence, and we'll crown a champion of that league. And right now, they anticipate having 18 teams on those 6 islands. And the individual that's coordinating all that is here tonight. And I'd like to introduce her, Lalisa Anthony. Why don't you stand up and be recognized? And she is working with USA Football, which is controls USA Football in the United States, and their whole interest is the promotion of United States football. And she is here and is starting this in conjunction with Popeyes and Conference USA and the MAC Conference, because they wanted to make sure that we gave something back to this country. And we hope that through this program, 5, 6, 7 years from now, you're going to see some of these young men playing for the University of Miami and playing for the Mid-American teams and playing for Conference USA. So it's really an exciting endeavor. So we got a few more things to do before we can eat and drink, but I would like to start off tonight by showing you the highlight film from last year. I know some of you all have seen it, but it was such a fantastic finish, and that last play has been played over and over and over again. And to kind of introduce the film, to let you know what is understanding what's happening, the Central Michigan football team was sitting in their headquarters in Michigan when the bowls were announced, and they didn't know which game that they were going to be picked to play in. And so this kind of sets up this video, and their video guy put it together, and it went viral. It's had millions and millions of people have watched it, and it's really cute, and you can see the excitement when it came down, all the bowls that they had a possibility to go to, and then it came down to 2, and then their reaction when they were told that they were coming to the Bahamas is amazing. So with that, we'll go ahead and show you that highlight film. Trying to get the sound up.
Chief Brand Officer of Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. On behalf of our franchisees and employees worldwide, we welcome you to the 2014 Popeye's Bahamas Bowl.
And I'm Obi Wilshkin, Bahamas Minister of Tourism. On behalf of our wonderful nation, we welcome you to the beautiful islands of the Bahamas for today's game.
We're proud to present today's Popeye's Bahamas Bowl here in Nassau, and we invite you to love that chicken from Popeye's.
And we're proud to display our tremendous hospitality to the world. We hope you visit us soon, and as we say, it's better in the Bahamas.
Bowl Week has officially kicked off here in the Bahamas as both teams have arrived to the Atlantis Resort here in Paradise Island. I'm Kennedy Hardman and I'll be your tour guide as we take you behind the scenes of the Popeye's Bahamas Bowl. Now Central Michigan and WKU are certainly looking
team, our fans are excited to finally get here, and we're looking forward to having a great time.
Well, I've never been outside of the United States, so it's my first time. So a lot of our guys, it's the first time, so it's a pretty exciting feeling. And
and, you know, play volleyball, play basketball with the guys. And this is our time coming after Bahamas. You know, you ain't been in a better place than coming here to the bowl game. When we found out that we were going to the Bahamas, I probably took top of my lungs. You know, first time coming out of the country and playing football. It's one of the best experiences that I could have in my life.
It's a very humbling experience. They go through a lot of struggles that we see every day back in the States. So it's a very humbling experience coming here with our teammates, being able to stay in this great country, just coming back to see. Coming back and just connected. Been fortunate enough to even come to the Bahamas and stay in a nice hotel. So the least we can do is give back and hopefully brighten some of these kids' day. I'm from the city. I never, imagined playing with dolphins, even having dolphins swim around me. But it was just nice to, do this for the first time, and it's a fun experience, especially in the Bahamas. It's crazy.
this is like an experience that you don't see. We're on an island right now, so I think that's pretty cool.
For the families, it's really been a neat experience, not just for the families, but the players too. I can see our players have really been enjoying it. For many of them, they may never get back to this place, so it's been a really cool experience.
It is a tremendous opportunity so that we can be able to develop football and show that football is a sport. In the 7 years that we've been doing football, we have not been able to make inroads here in Nassau. So this really gives us the opportunity to be able to come in and have a youth clinic and make sure that we're further developing the sport.
The opportunity we have here to develop youth programming, develop the island into a place that really understands and embraces the sport is something that is a great opportunity, and we try to take full advantage of it.
They love it. They're at every opportunity trying to grab a football, run with it, tackle us, and it's really showing that it's not just an American sport, that people all over the world love it like we do.
It's been a great experience. I mean, from day one, it's just been a phenomenal first-class experience, and it's really nice to be here now, finally on site. To really just see the excitement and the energy around this game. We're really looking forward to an exciting event, and we're honored to be part of this.
This has been an incredible partnership. There's not a destination as exotic and frankly as user-friendly as the Bahamas, and everybody just loves the Popeye's brand. So when you bring the two together, it's really remarkable. So far into this, it's been win-win. I think we've helped the Bahamas Bowl. I think the Bahamas Bowl has helped the Popeye's brand. And I have every expectation that it will be something we do in the future and it will continue to be a win-win.
Central Michigan was going to a bowl, but which one? It came down to the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit and the Popeye's Bahama Bowl. video presentation. Pack your bags. You're going to the Caribbean. I'd like to say here, Detroit, I got your back. It's a city with its charm, the birthplace of the auto industry, and a music history that is second to none. The weather this time of year, warm at 53 degrees, but with a 100% chance of rain. As for the Bahamas, surrounded by warm water beaches filled with delicious seafood, including the king of shellfish, the conch. Right. Central wanted it. They got a lot more than they could have ever imagined. And they get the Atlantis. It's got a huge water slide. It's the gift that keeps on giving. The Hilltopper, dancing with the locals. It's a celebration. Popeye's Bahama Bowl. Careful what you wish for.
You're going to face Western Kentucky and their high-powered offensive line. Brandon Dowdy, touchdown there as he fives. Jared Dangerfield. Dowdy to Joel German. This will bring the 7-7 tie. Here's all in the first quarter. We're still in the first. Dowdy finding Antoine Grant. Dowdy for 8 touchdown passes in Western Kentucky's last game against Marshall, knocking the Thundering Herd to the ranks of the passes in the first quarter. Second quarter, much of the same. Mitchell Henry. Western Kentucky up 28-7, looking for their first FBS Bowl victory ever. Downey for Willie McNeil. He gone. Under 2 minutes to go. Running rampant over the chips. 5th touchdown pass. He would end up with 486 yards, and on the season, 49 touchdowns. He led FBS in passing yards and touchdown passes coming in. Oh, what a rush. Cooper Rush bringing it back. Central Michigan down 49-28. This in the fourth quarter. They trail by 35. Rush to Courtney Williams. 49-35. 5th touchdown pass of the game, and then Rush finds Anthony Garland. Now all-time record with his 6th touchdown pass of the game. And then, with seconds remaining, Central Michigan gets the ball back. They need a miracle. 1 second remaining. John Brinkley from ESPN Radio with the call.
Out of the gun is Rush. No pressure, now tries to avoid it, scrambles, now airs it out deep down the right sideline, batted through, caught by Jesse Crowley, ladders it to the left side, open is Deion Butler, he throws it away to Williams at the 15-yard line, laterals it again, to Titus Davis, the travel 5, dives in, and he did it, touchdown, Central Michigan, oh my goodness.
Cooper Rush, 439 passing yards. They would outscore Western Kentucky 34-zip in the fourth. An absolute clinic on the laterals. And it would eventually get to Titus Davis, the playmaker. We heard from Trevor Maddox on this Central Michigan squad. Keep in mind, this is the school that gave us Antonio Brown, the #1 receiver right now, statistically, in the NFL. And he gets to the pylon. And now the big decision for CMU. Coach Dan Enos looking on. They decide to go for 2. They have all the momentum, but they don't get the right play. It's overcooked. Western Kentucky survives in the inaugural Popeyes Bahamas Bowl.
And that completes my tour of the inaugural Popeyes Bahamas Bowl. Truly the ultimate bowl experience. Built with a world-class resort, great for a family vacation, top-notch teams, fabulous sponsors, impacting community outreach programs, and of course, a nail-biting finish to a thrilling, record-breaking football game. We look forward to seeing you next year on December 24th, 2015 for the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl Round 2.
Test. Are we okay? Great. I apologize for our technical difficulties, but we'll continue. And I just want to, before we introduce our coach, Bill Clark, from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, I just want to give you a few little things of what's going on in both conferences, just from a winning and losing standpoint. They've had some incredible wins already this year, and it all started with the team that was here last year. Western Kentucky beat Vanderbilt from the SEC 14-12. Marshall, which you probably heard of, a great program out of Conference USA, beat Purdue from the Big Ten 41-31. Bowling Green from the MAC beat Maryland 48-27, and also had a win over Purdue 35-28. Toledo's had two great wins for the MAC. They beat number 18 Arkansas of the SEC when they were 16, beat them 16-12. Toledo also beat Purdue. Poor Purdue. I hope there are no Purdue graduates here tonight. They're okay. Nope. They all. I want to just give you some names, and this tells you about these two conferences. One of the things we wanted to let everyone know about these two conferences, standing conferences. Jack Lambert. Anybody have ever heard of linebacker Jack Lambert? Steelers. Okay. Where did he play? He played at Kent State, a MAC team. There's another one. I know everybody knows this. His name is Terry Bradshaw. Steelers. Louisiana Tech, part of Conference USA. All right, Mean Joe Green. Another Steeler. Where did he play? Conference USA, North Texas. I'll give you another Steeler. I know you don't know this guy's name. Ben Roethlisberger. Miami, Ohio. There you go. Another one, Willie Roof. New Orleans Saints, Hall of Famer. Every one of these guys are Hall of Famers. Of course, Big Ben will be one as soon as he retires. Willie Roof played at Louisiana Tech. Here's another guy that just retired and is on the Hall of Fame ballot this year, Brett Favre. Where did he play? Southern Miss, Conference USA. Another Hall of Famer, punter, Ray Guy, Oakland Raiders. Everybody remember Ray Guy? He played at Southern Miss, Conference USA. So these two conferences, one of the things we passed out tonight, you got a brochure, and we put in there the active players that are playing in the NFL today, the start of the season 2015. It's really amazing the number of athletes from both conferences that are currently playing in the NFL. So these are great teams that are coming down here to play. And we've got a real quick highlight film. There's just music behind it, so you don't have to worry about the audio portion. But ball in these two conferences. Let's see. There you go. What we got going here? All right. We got a mic. We do have a mic. Okay. You can see both those conferences play great football, and we're really excited tonight to have a guest speaker to come down and really let you all know what college football is all about. And that's Coach Bill Clark, who is the head football coach at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Bill played at Jacksonville State, was an outstanding player there. When he got out of school, he went into high school coaching and coached at one of the biggest high schools in the state of Alabama, Prattville High School, and led them to, he was in championship competition 6 years, and he led them to 2 straight state championships in the state of Alabama, which alone, that is a great feat. He had an opportunity to get out of high school coaching and go to the University of South Alabama, where he was a defensive coordinator for 5 years, and then was selected the head coach at his alma mater, Jacksonville State. And in his first year at Jacksonville State, he was 11-4 and took his team to the NCAA playoffs. And lo and behold, here came UAB, and UAB had not had a winning season or been bowl eligible in 10 years, and they hired Coach Clark. In his first year there at UAB, they were 6-6 and became bowl eligible. I've gotten an opportunity to know him, and I know that he's a terrific coach, and he's got a great career ahead of him, and we're glad that he is in Conference USA, and we know that he'll have a great impact on the conference, and we hope that in a year or two, we're going to have him come down to the bowl game and be a part of the Bahamas Bowl. Before I bring Bill up, I would like to introduce his wife. We're really pleased to have her with us tonight, and that's Jennifer Clark. Jennifer, if you'd please stand up and just kind of wave, and let's give her a big hand. And I think you'll really enjoy the opportunity to hear Coach Clark, and I hope you'll give him your attention because he's a great man, he's a great coach, he's done a lot in a very short time in his career, and I know Conference USA is really pleased that he's the head football coach at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Coach Clark, let's give him a big hand.
Good evening. I think I'm the last of the evening, so I won't stay up here too long. Just want to speak, I guess, and I'll speak for both conferences, Conference USA and the MAC, as a college football coach. I tell you, just from our players' standpoint, going on or off. I usually don't need a microphone as a football coach. But guys, one of the big things when we're out recruiting as college football coaches is about the whole experience. And what happens as an FBS team, which is what Conference USA and the MAC is with our schools, is we have the ability to give out 85 full scholarships. And as you know, a full scholarship is so important to these young men. And of course, there's all kind of athletes represented here today. But just me speaking from football, it's a chance for these guys to go get a full education and then hopefully maybe play at the next level, but for sure get a great job. So when we're selling these players on the full college experience, you know, that's academics, okay? That's playing in these games. That's all the things that go with it, which I'm going to talk very briefly about. One of those great things is if you win 6 games and get bowl eligible, you get a chance to go to a great bowl. So last year when we came in, this is a true story, when we came into UAB, I got there in January, this was a downtrodden group, okay? These guys had not won, they'd had 3 coaches in 3 years. They had not had a lot of winning go on. And when it was announced that Conference USA had a chance to be part of this and go to the Bahamas Bowl, it was kind of a scene similar to what Western Kentucky, I guess that wasn't Western Kentucky, that was Central Michigan went through, the excitement. That was something these guys worked for, okay? And so what goes through a college football player's life is it is very structured. When you start thinking about athletes and what they're asked to do on a daily basis, these guys train year-round for a chance to play in 12 games, these football players. They're in study halls, they're in tutors, they're in training sessions, weight training sessions, strength and speed year-round. And this bowl game is a great reward for them, okay? It's a great reward. So thank you for what you're doing for them. Okay, thank you for the great experience. I got to speak to some of the guys on the Western Kentucky staff, and they had such a good experience. So I'm glad we're going to continue doing this. I'm glad Conference USA is a part of that. Real quickly, just talk to you a few things about kind of what goes into what we do. We talked a little bit about what these guys do on a daily basis, what their responsibilities are. You know, it's a pretty good deal. These guys are on this full scholarship. Their housing, their food is taken care of, their books, they get tutors. But guys, they work really hard for a chance to do what you see on Saturdays, okay? They work really hard for that. From a coaching staff standpoint, we have offensive coaches, we have defensive coaches, we have special teams coaches. We've got a training staff that monitors these guys. And in fact, at my school, we're a medical school. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. One of the big things that's going on for us is integrating sports and science. They're doing concussion testing at my school. We have our own nutritionist. In fact, she was with the Atlanta Falcons, one of our guys from UAB. You might know Roddy White. He's a pretty famous alumni that plays for the Falcons. She was with the Atlanta Falcons. She was their nutritionist. We have her now. So there's a lot of things that go on at our place from a medical and a science standpoint, teaming with our athletes, trying to do things better, trying to be innovative. Okay? Real quickly. Talking a little bit about trends that are going on today in college football. I think there was a guy in the back, I forget who he was, but I should get him on the staff. He knew more about spread offense and tempo offense than probably some of my coaches. But you've seen a change in college football to tempo. You guys know what that is. That's fast-paced offensive football where they're not huddling. You watch Western Kentucky. We were lucky enough to beat them at their place last year. Their quarterback's back. In fact, he's a guy that's been mentioned in the Heisman. But they're a tempo team. We're a tempo team. You're starting to see that in professional football more and more with quarterbacks that are a little more athletic, that can run the ball. Okay, you're seeing these guys make it to the next level. That's increased scoring. So a defensive coach like myself, I'm an old defensive coordinator. You know, we don't know if we like that as much, you know, because there's a lot of points being scored nowadays, but I know the fans like that. So from a trend standpoint, that's what's going on. I do think defensive coaches are starting to catch up with that a little bit, but there's still a lot of points being scored, and there's a lot of plays being going on in a game. So, guys, once again, I don't want to get on board you. I know we've been here for a long time. Richard, is there any maybe some questions somebody might like to ask me? Has anybody got any questions? Anything about college football or what's going on maybe I could answer for anybody? Or y'all just ready to eat? Yes, sir.
What are some of the key characteristics that you're looking for in a student athlete?
Good question. One of the things we like to talk about is making the whole man. And I think if that was any of our coaches at our school, they'd talk about making the whole lady or the whole man, the whole student. So we talk about character education. We do a lot of life skills, and a lot of these guys that we're recruiting, let's just be real honest, some of them don't come from the best situations. You know, there's guys that come from two-parent homes. There's guys that come from single-parent homes. There are guys that come from, you know, bad home life. So what this does, hopefully we're making productive citizens. This athletic process that they get to go through playing in these games in front of all these people is really just an opportunity for the next step, which is their life, which, you know, obviously they'd love to play in the NFL, but our big thing is that they go get this great job.
So what we're looking for is guys that the game is very important to. And the reason I say if the game is very important to them, usually they'll allow us to do the things with them that we need to do as far as keeping them straight, going to class, all those things that I say are kind of non-negotiable, because that's what they're here for, is to get that education. But, you know, I like guys that are workers. You would love to get a guy from a great program. You don't always get that because he knows how to work. But high character guys are always important to me because they make my locker room better. They take coaching and they want to get better. Good question. Anybody else? All right. Well, guys, once again, thank you for having us. Thank you for this bowl game. And we appreciate being here. We're enjoying our experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much.